Good morning. So Pastor Will has asked us to make a video, and here it is. So who am I? My name is Jennisse, and I am a part-time interpreter in the courts of Virginia. I'm also a mom, a stay-at-home mom. So when I'm not working, which is usually once or twice a week, I'm home. But since March 16th, I have been home. Since they decided to close the schools, I stayed off from work, and I haven't been to work since. And since then, a lot of my assignments have been canceled. So when I foresaw that the changes were coming and that we were going to be decreed to stay home and not be able to get out, I knew that that was going to be a challenge. So in my love to-do list and party planner and event planner of our home as my task as a mom, I decided that we would all sit at the table and we would make, in these big, huge Post-it notes, we would brainstorm of things that we wanted to do during this 30 to 40-day quarantine process. That was about 5 weeks ago. And yes, we made a list of the things that we wanted to do. We made a list of projects that we wanted to do around the house, games that we have always wanted to play, like Monopoly, but we just never had enough time to start and finish them in one sitting. And also things that we had been wanting to do for a long time, like scrapbook or declutter or special projects that just we could never find time for. So we added all these things on the list, and I'm happy to report that yeah, we have accomplished some of those things. What has also gone into the process has been a time of prayer and fasting that that we were called to and invited to do by Pastor Will. And so we have endeavored in that in a certain shape or form, everyone in our home, or at least most of everyone. But what has been speaking to me in this whole process, as I pray and I see the days go by, and 5 weeks into it, our to-do list, we're kind of checking off a lot of things. But then there were days that I wake up and I find like I had done nothing, or that I had just didn't feel like I had accomplished anything. I just was reminded by the words of Paul that it says that make the most of every opportunity because the days are evil. So then I started asking myself, what is it that these days are for? And I recognized that it was time for rest, something that I don't know how to do very well, because I love to-do lists and I love to feel like I've accomplished it. And yes, I pray and have been praying fervently for our nation, for our own health, for the elderly, for the workers in the hospitals, for God to have mercy on us and relent from this plague. But I found that God was saying, remember that book, You Are Special by Max Lucado. This time is not just to sit and pray and ask. This time is not just to sit and listen and get instructions and guidance from me, but this time is also a time for you to come and sit at my workbench. It is a time for you to come and bring yourself and let me buff off the scratches. Let me take off those stars that have perhaps grown to you to have a more high-level view of yourself that has perhaps been room for pride. But most of all, come and let me see your scratches, the wounds that you have, and let me heal them. So that has been the time I have taken to sit, yes, to listen, yes, to pray, but also to let God come to hug me, to buff off the scratches, to bring truth into areas that there were lies, and healing into areas that needed healing. I encourage you to do the same, to envision yourself sitting at God's workbench in front of Him, and let Him pull out the sand, or let Him pull out the wood shining pieces, so that He would shine and work on you, so that you too would look like Punchinello. I'll show you a picture of the book, and once again, it's a book on Max Lucado, and this is the picture of the book. It's just one of the parts of it at the end, where Punchinello, who's a little wooden boy sitting there, is sitting before Eli, which is a picture of God. and he's there working on him. And Eli then, Punchinello, when he ends, he comes out, and those dots, meaning those rude words, those words of anger or hurt that stuck and created a wound, start coming off, and your true identity starts coming. He wants to build an identity in us in this time of solitude and time of quiet, time of rest that he has given us. Let us spend some time in his presence. He certainly is doing that with me, and it is so sweet to hear his voice speak into our lives and to bring peace into places that were sorrow, and to bring joy in moments all the way back to childhood. So take this time and sit at his feet, being silent, and ask him, and recall, go through your timeline and recall your life, and let him buff off the scratches, and let him buff off the stars that led us to pride, perhaps. May this be a blessing to you, and may you have a great rest of the week and day. God bless you.